Italian authorities have taken the captain of the ship into custody. Questions remain. What caused the ship to run aground, and what recourse is left for those passengers? Michael Winkleman, maritime attorney, Joey Jackson, an attorney who's with us often, and Mark Murphy, a travel expert. All right, gentlemen, thanks for being with us. Joey, the captain's in custody. Might he face criminal charges?
Without question. Look, you have people who are dead here, people who are injured here, people who are missing. As a result of that, what is wanted? What's wanted is accountability. As a result, there'll be a thorough investigation. In this investigation, should they determine that he was negligent to the degree that people died, he will, in fact, be prosecuted. There will also be the issue, Judge, as to whether or not he abandoned ship. There's a saying, a captain goes down with his ship. As a result of that, you should be the last one off. So, in the event that the investigation reveals that he was negligent to the extent that people died and he abandoned ship before everyone else got off, you could expect a prosecution.
The whole idea of someone abandoning ship is crazy. Now, all right, guys, Mark, what we've got here is we've got a cruise ship that is state-of-the-art, $260 or $80 million, 10 stories high. I mean, the Titanic was 100 years ago. How does this happen?
Yeah, I guess in a nutshell, it just got too close to the shore, and no one really knows why they did that. I mean, they were so close to the shore, and they know that reef is there. And I guess that's going to be the question that has to get sorted out. They do have a black box on these ships, so they're going to be able to figure out what went wrong and when it went wrong.
All right. Now, these passengers stranded right now in Italy. Should Carnival Cruise be bringing them home, taking care of them? What's going on? What normally happens in a situation
there's a
like
contract. So when you book a cruise, you're signing a contract, and you're making a contract with that cruise line. And when you make that contract, you pretty much, as a passenger, are handing your rights to the cruise line. And so when something goes wrong, unless you have travel insurance and have been advised to take travel insurance, you're pretty much on your own. What typically the lines do is they step in and they make things right as they can. So
what are they going to do? Make it give you another cruise?
Well, yeah, that's typically what they do.
Kidding?
Yes, and they give you a refund on the cruise you just took, so you don't pay for anything on the cruise you took, and you get a free cruise later, and hopefully some transportation back.
All right, Michael Winkleman. Michael, you there?
I am here, Judge. How are you?
Good
evening.
You are a maritime attorney. Thank you for being with us this evening. Can these passengers sue? What rights do they have?
They absolutely can sue, Judge. And first, thank you so much for having me. Unfortunately, what has been really a crazy, scary, terrifying incident is really just the tip of the iceberg for these passengers. Mark hit the nail on the head with the cruise ticket contract, because in that requires these U.S. passengers, if they're injured and even grievously injured, they would have to go and sue in Genoa, Italy. And that's an incredibly expensive and time-consuming endeavor.
Wait, Michael, what about long-arm jurisdiction? Isn't Carnival based in the United States?
I wish it were that simple, and I've had so many federal court judges say there's no way you can have jurisdiction over that. But to answer your question, of course Carnival's here. Yes, Carnival is the parent corporation of Costa, but Costa makes the argument that, hey, sure, everybody buys our cruises in America, but you have to go sue us in Genoa, Italy. But just to be really clear, if this is a Costa cruise that leaves out of Miami, the forum selection clause in the ticket contract would say sue in Miami. But because this didn't touch a U.S. port, then they put in a clause that says that if you're hurt, you have to go and sue in Genoa, Italy. So basically, what happens is, and the reason why passengers should always talk to a seasoned maritime attorney is that,
like yourself,
if you're on, well, thank you. Yeah, sure, absolutely. But when these U.S.-based cruises, if you leave out of the port of Miami, your rights are very different than if you leave out of a cruise, let's say, in Europe. And actually, I was just telling my dad about this, who's about to go on a cruise. The cruise lines try to take full advantage of the fact that if a cruise doesn't touch a U.S. port, then a federal statute called 46
So, guys, what we have here is passengers on that ticket that they buy limit the liability, basically, of the cruise ship.
Yes, but here's what I argue. Two things I don't buy, Judge, very quickly. The first thing I don't buy is a jurisdictional argument. If you are doing business here, remember the case International Sue?
I disagree
you sue
with
there. Absolutely. Number two, a contract. That's a contract of adhesion. What does that mean? It means it's so one-sided as to not be enforceable.
But for years,
I would argue enforce it here.
Sided with the people who run these cruise lines. Here's the issue, guys. When you've got a captain in custody, we are now crossing the line from normal, kind of negligence to intentional acts, and possibly, if criminal charges are filed, wouldn't we now have real causes of action against Carnival Cruise?
Oh, absolutely, there'd be causes of action.
No, there are real causes of action, but it's the cruise lines that are fighting industry-wide, spending billions of dollars in Washington and across the world to try to take away their passengers' rights. They're nice to you with a smile on your face, but when push comes to shove and tragedies like this happen, that's when you need to make sure that you have the best on your side, making sure fighting for your rights, because they're going to try to take them away from you.
All right, last word.
Well, at the end of the day, they want you to be happy. The cruise lines don't want customers to have problems, so they're certainly trying to take care of the customer. And I think the key for Costa and Carnival Corp is how they're going to respond to this tragedy.
Well, you know, what we know is in the past, I mean, Carnival Cruise has had many, many problems. And let's hope that this doesn't affect the whole cruise line industry, because I like to go on cruises. Anyway, Michael, Joey, Mark, thank you so much for being with us this evening. Now, the people of Mississippi are reeling.